Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Media Day press conference. My name is John Brush. I'm the new Assistant Athletic Director for Athletic Communications here at the Citadel. And just to give you a brief on what we're going to do today, Coach Thompson will give a opening statement at the podium, then open it up for questions from you guys. After Coach Thompson is completed with his question and answer session, we have 4 players that will be made available for you guys in a kind of a Media Day bullpen setting. For our TV cameras here, any questions you'd like to ask of these guys, please feel free to use this backdrop behind me. We'll get this podium out of the way. So at this point, we'd like to go ahead and get started. And let me bring to the podium our head football coach, Brent Thompson.
Thank you, John. And I appreciate you guys coming out. Good morning. This is we've been anticipating the start of this season. We still got 2 weeks left, but I really like the way that camp has gone. I've enjoyed these seniors especially. These are guys that have been with us the whole time here, the last 4 years, and some of them their 5th year for us. So it's great to have a bunch of guys that know exactly what the expectations are. I also think this group of seniors are the guys that were not satisfied with last year's performance, especially the way that we ended last season. So I think that motivated us all the way through this year, and it's continued into camp, and camp can be difficult. Camp is a little bit extended this year, but the nice thing about it was we had about 2 or 3 days off scheduled in there, and we're going to have a 4th day coming up here. So what we stressed and emphasized was every minute counts in camp, and every minute on the practice field counts, and I think that's what these guys set out to do. They did a heck of a job of practicing all the last 2 weeks, and have prepared themselves. Tonight we're going to get into a scrimmage mode. That'll be our first opportunity to really see some more live action. We had a couple of live action last Saturday, but it was controlled a little bit. We had more situations. We're going to do a little bit more special teams tonight. Everything that we do today and tonight will be based upon a timeline for a 6:05 kick, which is what we're anticipating the Wofford game to be. So we're not going to waste any time in the next 2 weeks preparing for Wofford. We'll probably start our preparations on Monday as a staff getting ready for it on Sunday. So I think we're fairly healthy at this point. We certainly do have our fair share of nicks and bruises out there. Some guys will be limited in reps tonight. Other guys will get a little bit more action. As you can anticipate, a lot of our younger guys are on the defensive side. You'll see a lot of those guys probably most of the night tonight, seeing what they can do in those kind of a game type of situations. Now, the other thing we want to do is also get an idea of what our special teams is capable of, where our kickers are capable of kicking it from, and what kind of pressure that we can put on those guys in tonight's scrimmage as well. So we're excited about tonight. We're excited about where we have gotten to in camp so far. In the next couple of weeks, we are going to probably do a little bit of interaction on Monday and Tuesday, and then after that, all preparation is going to be on for Wofford. Next Saturday's mock game scrimmage will just be kind of a little bit of a run-through with just helmets on every single situation that we possibly can get to out on the field or get to in a game kind of scenario. But other than that, we are moving forward. We're doing a pretty good job of keeping ourselves hydrated, sleeping, and trying to keep our weight on as best we can. So our recovery has been our main focus. So that way we can practice out there for a good portion of the day and have a pretty good spirited and tempoed practice. Any questions?
Coach, what's it like having a kind of a big Southern Conference opener to start the season?
I enjoy it. We had it a couple of years ago with Mercer, and we went back to Furman, and we came back home for a Furman game a couple of years ago. It stresses the importance of camp. It also stressed the importance of the off season of our summer program, as well as our winter conditioning. We couldn't waste any single moment of our days this year not in preparation for that Wofford game, because if we want to make a run at the title, which we always do every year, it's got to go through Wofford, and there's no question you want to start off with the Southern Conference champs, which will be a good game, as they've always been good games here in the last about 4 or 5 years. They've come down to a possession or two. So we're looking forward to it. We're excited. We're going to bring the Corps cadets up there. It'll be a great atmosphere. It'll be a 6 o'clock kick. We've got a lot of Greenville, Spartanburg alumni that we're expecting to turn out for it. So I think it's going to be a great Southern Conference atmosphere.
Coach, what's been the biggest surprise for you in camp so far?
we've had a lot of young kids that have stepped up, and the biggest thing is watching those guys develop, especially in the secondary. They don't know where to fit. They don't know what they're doing. By the end, in the last probably 2 or 3 days, we've seen them get downhill a little bit. We've seen them fit their gaps fairly smooth, and I've liked what I've seen there. We've also had a couple of young specialists. Matt Campbell's done a great job of kicking the football, punting. He's challenging Gage for that punting job right now, so we're going to take a look at that tonight. So a lot of our young guys have stepped forward, and a couple of guys on the defensive line have done a great job. Ken Allen's always a steady on the defensive line, but Joseph Randolph's got himself in great shape. He's been tough to move out of there at the 3 technique. So a couple of those guys on defense have done extremely well. Offensively, we've got some pretty good young B-backs, especially Clay Harris and Amike, that are doing a great job really just getting their footwork down and hopefully get an opportunity to be able to show what they've got tonight.
Coach, what's the competition been like for the backup quarterback spot behind Jordan?
Well, right now, Brandon Rainey's taking most of the reps there, and Brandon's going to have a role on this football team. There's no doubt about it. Of course, Jordan's been playing for us the last couple of years. We've gotten him a lot of good quality reps over the last 2 years, so he's a little bit ahead in the game experience category, but when it comes to playing in games, Brandon has played B-back in a lot of those games, and I think that's helped him out as well. It's changed his running style a little bit. It's gave him a little different perspective of the offense. So as of right now, Brandon's going to go in as the 2, and you'll see Brandon quite a bit tonight.
What's the biggest thing you guys need to work on before Wofford comes up in 2 weeks?
Our timing is not completely there just yet, and that's one thing that takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get all set on the offensive side. On the defensive side, it's going to be probably starting to settle in on the back end to see where guys are actually fitting in certain spots, who's going to play the safety, who's going to play at the corner spot, and solidifying our starting lineup over the next couple of weeks. And then on the specialist side of things, it'll be the punting job to see if that's, if Matt Campbell can really challenge Gage on that.
Brent, what has to go right this year for you guys to get back to where you were a couple years ago?
We need to get back to doing what we do, and that's, we've got to be back playing a physical style of football. We've got to get downhill. We've got to be able to chew the clock a little bit more than we did last year, maintain possession. And then the one thing that we've been talking about all season and all preseason has been the red zone. We've got to be able to put points on the board when it's there. And if it's we want to try to stop settling for field goal or field goal opportunities. We need to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. And we've been talking about it a lot, and I'm about ready to stop talking about it. But this is the last opportunity for us to be able to get up there and stick the ball in the end zone. And it's got to be a little bit of a mentality for us that once we get inside that 20-yard line, that we need to get 6 points out of that. Same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Is a victory for us is if we can just hold them to a field goal or a field goal attempt and hold them out of the end zone. We want to limit opportunities and possessions for the opposing offense.
Brent, can you talk about how training camp has evolved over the years during your career? You used to do 2-a-days, and then they made you put a day between 2-a-days, right? And now you don't do 2-a-days at all. Just how has it all evolved over the years?
It's changed. It's changed even as a coach. You've got to approach it differently, and we embraced it this year. And everything that you were trying to do over the last couple of years is kind of get them in shape. And I think we've done it the right way is we get them in shape over the summertime. It used to be we used to send our players home for the summertime. Then you'd have to spend 2 weeks just getting them back in football shape. We don't have to do that as much. We've got 80 to 90 guys on campus at one time in the summertime for about 7.5 to 8 weeks for us. So we don't have to do as much of that. Now we're focusing more on recovery, which I think is where it's at. So it's called quality reps and quality practice time. But my expectations go up for those practices. When you have 2-a-days and at one time we had 3-a-days, your expectations for the practice start to diminish as camp goes on. We couldn't allow that to happen this year. We only have 25 practice opportunities, and we kept on counting them down that those are important opportunities for us. And if we don't take advantage of every single minute of every single day, whether it's rest, recovery, nutrition, or it's meeting time, film time, walkthrough time, or practice time, we're gonna lose football games if we don't watch out. And that's what I stress the importance of this year is if we're going to give days off and we're going to give breaks in between and go practice once, we're going to make sure that it's one darn good practice out there. So Harper and Emma, they will be. They will certainly be. I think I'm going to restrict them to the box as much as possible, because like me, I was a lot better in the box than I am on the field. Sometimes there's a tendency to run out onto the field when we don't need to be on the field, and of course that could get us a flag if we don't watch out. So we're going to try to limit them either to the box or to the terrace area up here, and certainly that's my wife Tiffany's job. As I have a get back coach, so do they. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.